Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are getting into a story that is just absolutely chilling. It's all about duality, those secret desires we all have, and the terrifying darkness that might be hiding just behind a respectable face. So yeah, let's get into the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. All right, so our main guy, our guide through this whole London mystery, is a lawyer named Mr. Utterson. And he's described as lean, long, dusty, and dreary, but somehow you can't help but like him. He's the picture of Victorian self-control. He has this saying, right? He inclines to Cain's heresy, which is just a fancy way of saying he lets people go about their business even if it's bad business. He's all about tolerance, not judgment. But let me tell you, that's going to be put to the test. Big time. So, Utterson's nice, quiet, orderly life? Yeah, that gets completely blown up when he looks at the will of his good friend, the brilliant Dr. Henry Jekyll. Because there's this clause in it, and it's a shocker. It says that if Jekyll dies, or, get this, disappears, everything, his entire fortune, goes to some guy named Edward Hyde. And Utterson's like, who the heck is Edward Hyde? This is the very first clue that something is seriously wrong with his friend. Okay, so this one document, it's the key that unlocks this whole terrifying mess. And it all starts with a story about a really strange, kind of sinister door on some London backstreet. So Utterson's cousin, Enfield, tells him about this absolutely horrific thing he saw one night. There's this small, just repulsive-looking man, and he just calmly walks all over a little girl, just tramples her and leaves her screaming. Enfield says the guy was just so ugly, but it was the coldness of it all that was really chilling. Just pure cruelty. He even called it hellish to see. Okay, so a crowd gathers, and they're ready to ruin this guy's reputation. So to make it all go away, he agrees to pay off the girl's family. And where does he get the money? He unlocks that weird door and comes back with some cash and a check. And here's the kicker, the part that just makes Utterson's blood run cold. The check is signed by, you guessed it, Dr. Henry Jekyll. Now, Utterson is completely obsessed. He starts just hanging around that doorway. He has to see this Mr. Hyde for himself. And when he finally does, it's even worse than he thought. Hyde is described as pale, small, and he just gives off this vibe of being wrong, deformed. But Utterson can't quite put his finger on why. All he knows is that he's filled with this deep, gut-level disgust and fear. He feels like he's just stared evil right in the face. All right, a year passes. Utterson is still thinking about all this, but things are quiet. And then, bam, the whole thing explodes from a private concern into a massive public scandal. So, a maid is just looking out her window one night, and she sees the whole thing. There's this respected old gentleman, Sir Danvers Carew, and he's just talking to a smaller man, who she recognizes as Mr. Hyde. And then, out of nowhere, Hyde just erupts. A great flame of anger, and with what she calls ape-like fury, he just beats the man to death with a cane, stomping on his body. It's brutal. The police get on it, and the evidence just piles up, and it's all terrifyingly clear. First, you've got the eyewitness who says, yep, that was Mr. Hyde. Second, the victim had a letter on him addressed to Mr. Utterson. But here's the real nail in the coffin. The murder weapon? It's the broken half of a cane that Utterson gave to Dr. Jekyll as a gift. Oof. So of course, Utterson runs straight to Jekyll's house. He finds his friend looking absolutely awful, deathly sick. And Jekyll just swears up and down that he's done with Hyde, that the guy is gone for good. He even has a letter from Hyde to prove it, a sort of farewell note. But Utterson's not buying it. Something feels off. So later, he shows this letter to his clerk, a guy named Guest, who's a handwriting expert. And Guest finds something startling. The handwriting is different, yeah, but there's a singular resemblance between Hyde's writing and Jekyll's. And the implication hits Utterson like a ton of bricks. His friend, Henry Jekyll, forged a letter for a murderer. So after the murder, Hyde, now the most wanted man in London, just disappears, vanishes. And for a little while, it seems like the nightmare might actually be over. Jekyll seems to be getting better. And for a couple of months, things are great. Jekyll is back to his old self. He's social, he's charitable, he's having dinner with his friends Utterson and Dr. Lanyon. Everything seems fine. But then, just like that, the door to his house slams shut. He won't see anyone. He's totally cut himself off, even more so than before. Utterson is confused, so he goes to see their other friend, Dr. Lanyon, to see what's up, and he finds Lanyon looking like he's seen a ghost. I mean, the book says he has his death warrant written legibly upon his face. The guy is clearly dying, and it's obvious he's had some kind of major shock, something connected to Jekyll. He won't even say Jekyll's name. And just a few weeks later, Lanyon is dead. But he leaves something behind for Utterson, a sealed letter. And the instructions on it are super creepy. It says it's not to be opened until the death or, there's that word again, disappearance of Dr. Henry Jekyll. Utterson, being the proper gentleman he is, locks it away. But man, the mystery just keeps getting deeper and weirder. Okay, now we're rocketing towards the end. It's a cold, windy night, and Utterson gets a visitor. It's Poole, Jekyll's butler, and he is freaking out. Poole is terrified. He says he hasn't seen Dr. Jekyll for a whole week. But there is someone or something locked in the laboratory, and he's positive it's not his master. He's convinced Jekyll has been murdered, and the killer is still in there. And Poole's story is just bizarre. He says for days this voice, that's not Jekyll's voice, has been crying out from inside the lab, demanding some kind of chemical. Poole even caught a glimpse of this thing. It was small, it was wearing a mask, and it screeched like a rat before it ran away. Poole is sure it was Hyde. That's it for Utterson. He can't wait anymore. He's convinced Hyde murdered Jekyll and is now hiding in the lab. There's only one thing to do. He and Poole grab an axe and they decide they're breaking that door down. They smash the door open, and inside, it's quiet. Everything's in its place, but on the floor is the body of Edward Hyde. He's wearing Jekyll's clothes, which are way too big for him. Looks like he poisoned himself. But Dr. Jekyll, he's gone. Just vanished. But on Jekyll's desk, Utterson finds a couple of letters, one from Dr. Lanyon and one from Jekyll himself. Finally, we're about to get some answers. So, first, Lanyon's letter, it explains what happened that night, the night that basically killed him. This strange little man, Hyde, shows up at his house, he mixes up a potion and drinks it, and right there, in front of Lanyon, Hyde's face starts to melt and change. He grows bigger, and then it's Henry Jekyll standing there. Seeing this impossible thing, it completely broke Lanyon. And then we get Jekyll's side of the story. He explains that his whole life, he felt like he was two people in one body, the respectable doctor and this other guy who wanted to do, well, bad things. So he created a potion to literally split them apart. And for a while, it was great. He could turn into Hyde, go out and be a monster, and then turn back with no one the wiser. But the problem was, Hyde started getting stronger. And pretty soon, the changes started happening on their own, without the potion. Jekyll was losing the fight. He became a prisoner to this evil side he'd let out. And when he ran out of the special ingredient he needed for the potion to change back, he knew it was over. He was trapped. So he took the only way out he had left. So, in the end, it's not just a monster story, is it? It leaves us with this really chilling question. Jekyll's whole experiment was about his belief that man is not truly one, but truly two. And that makes you think, doesn't it? If you could separate the good and evil parts of yourself, what would you find? What's really going on inside all of us?